Good morning. Welcome to this press conference on this beautiful day, and welcome to the introduction of the 2011 Oil Independence for a Stronger America Act. I want to thank my colleagues, Senator Udall, who's unable to join us because of the wildfires that are burning in New Mexico, Senator Carper, who will be here shortly, Senator Bennet, who fortunately is here, and Michael Bennet, the Vice President of the Truman National Security Project and former Army captain. And they each will have comments as we go forward. In just 5 days, we're going to celebrate our nation's independence. But even as we engage in this celebration of our political independence, we have greater and greater economic dependence, unfortunately, on foreign powers that supply us with oil. For years, leaders from both parties have agreed that our country has a problem when it comes to overseas oil. Our addiction to overseas oil doubles our trade deficit. It threatens our environment. It puts our economy and our security at the mercy of foreign regimes that share neither our values nor our interests. Today, the lifeblood of our economy is oil. And if that oil is choked off, our economy has a heart attack. That's an unsustainable and a risky path for our nation. And that's why we're here this morning, to chart a different path forward, to chart a path to energy independence. We have the technology and know-how to eliminate our dependence on overseas oil, and to do so within a 20-year period. The question is not the technology. The question is whether we have the political will to take us forward. The Oil Independence for a Stronger America Act lays out a roadmap. The chart that you see here, and I'm going to address these briefly because of the time constraints we're on, but I can follow up in the end. We have 5 strategies that reduce our oil usage: electric vehicles and fuel-efficient cars. Creates deployment communities to take on the issue of the chicken and egg. People don't want to buy cars until they have charging stations. People don't want to put out charging stations until the cars are there. And it also raises fuel efficiency standards. A third of our oil is burned in car transportation, and we take that on. We also address alternative fuels, next generation biofuels from algae and biomass. Third, smart transportation options for families. We should be helping our communities to create plans that move people, not cars. That means light rail. That means rapid bus transit. That means pathways for walking and for biking. Fourth, efficient freight transportation. Businesses need options for transporting their goods. A truck can move a ton of freight 150 miles on a gallon of fuel, and that's a long ways. But a train can move that same ton of freight over 400 miles. A barge can move it over 500 miles, a ton of freight on a single gallon of fuel. And under this plan, we'd shift 10% of our freight onto rail marine shipping, and a study to see how we could shift more in the future. And fifth, efficient homes and buildings to help reduce the demand for heating oil. We also need to have a National Council on Energy Security so that our determination as a nation to end our addiction on foreign oil is not interrupted by the ups and downs of our presidential elections, the ups and downs of our congressional elections. We need the same emphasis that we have with the National Security Council in having a National Energy Security Council. So with that, I'm going to invite my colleagues to come forward and share their observations. I'm delighted to start with Senator Bennet.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Jeff. Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody, for being out here today. And I want to especially thank Jeff Merkley for his leadership. I'm very proud to have co-sponsored this bill in the last Congress and very pleased to do it again. As I've traveled the state of Colorado over the last 2.5 years and had town hall meetings in red parts of the state and blue parts of the state, Democratic areas, Republican areas, Tea Party meetings, first of all, I can tell you none of them are as contentious as the discussions we're having in the building behind me. But the one thing that everybody could agree on is that it makes absolutely no sense for this country to have an energy policy that requires us to send billions of dollars a week to the Persian Gulf to buy oil. And that is the energy policy of the United States right now. It's a backward-looking energy policy. We need an energy policy that actually looks forward to the 21st century and says that for national security purposes, we're no longer going to rely on this source of oil. We're going to find a way to do it ourselves. And for an economic reason, for jobs, we are going to create energy security in the United States of America. You know, I often said when people were saying, we don't think we ought to change this and we ought to not change that, I would say, you know what? Our largest single export from the United States is aircraft. We export $30 billion a year of aircraft from this country. China's export of solar panels last year was $15 billion. Half our single largest export. They didn't export one solar panel 10 years ago, and we invented the technology in the United States. What I think this bill does is assert a principle, an important one, that it will not be the energy policy of the United States that we're going to rely on oil from abroad, and instead we are going to lead the world in the energy revolution that's coming in the 21st century. That means jobs for the United States. It also means jobs for Colorado, where we've seen the job growth in new energy outstrip any other part of our economy. So I was pleased to sign on to the bill. Look forward to working with people of both parties and the other House to make sure that we leave our kids a world where they no longer are reliant on buying oil from the Persian Gulf. Thank you for having me today. Jeff, thank you for your leadership.
We're delighted to have Tom Carper, who co-sponsored this with us last year when we first launched it, and we're diving into it again because the problem has not disappeared.
You know, on a day this beautiful, I almost feel like we have not a care in the world. But as it turns out, we got a whole lot of cares. And among the cares that we have are when we pull up to a gas pump and fill up our vehicles with fuel, we send a lot of money to places around the world, to countries that are unstable, undemocratic, and I'm afraid that in too many instances they actually use our money to try to hurt us. And we ought to be smarter than doing that. There's the national security aspect of what Senator Merkley's trying to do here that sometimes we lose sight of, but it's a very important part of it. And I just applaud his efforts to help make sure that as we move toward 2016, when the requirement of fuel efficiency fleet average reaches 35 miles per gallon, that we won't just stop there, that we'll keep on going. We're trying to set a good example in Delaware. Delaware, for many years, was the only state in which there was auto assembly operations. And we lost literally in 2009, within a 6-month period, our Chrysler plant, Durangos, hybrid Durangos. We lost our GM plant where we built Pontiac Solstices and Saturn Skies. They went away. And the idea was, at least at the time, that neither plant would ever be opened again. Well, guess what? We're going to open the GM plant. It's already open. The work's going on. And then late next year, we'll have about 2,500 people there building a Fisker product. Fisker product, Henrik Fisker is one of the premier auto designers really in the world. And he's starting a small car company, and they're going to be building vehicles that get about 80 miles per gallon. 80 miles per gallon. Drop-dead beautiful cars with that kind of mileage. And what we want to do is to incentivize more of that. That's what's possible. You know, we have the Chevrolet Volt, and we have Nissan Leaf and all. We want to make sure that when people call our offices, as they have, whether it's Jeff or Michael Bennet, they call our office and say, well, I'm concerned about the price of oil. We want to be able to say, well, here's a list of 40 vehicles that you can buy in this country that actually get 30 or 40 miles or 50 miles per gallon. And think about this the next time you're making a purchase. So that's number one, get ourselves off of foreign oil. At the same time, while we do that, find ways to develop products, cars, vehicles in this country that we can build with new technology and sell not just in this country, around the world. The Fisker products that we're going to be manufacturing late next year at our old GM plant in Wilmington, Delaware, will go about half of them will be sold in this country, half of them will be sold around the world. Got a fixed Port of Wilmington auto terminal. We're ready to roll. So that's number one. That's what I call taking adversity and turning it into opportunity. Number two, I come to work almost every day on the train. And I drive my car. We live just about 10 minutes from the train station in Wilmington. And I get on the train, and right across right by the train station we have a line of cabs, so people can come to take the train by a cab. And then right across the street from the train station is a bus station. And so you have the opportunity to drive your own car. You have the opportunity to take a cab to the train station. You have the opportunity to bus, maybe an interstate bus or local bus, and you have the opportunity to walk. I mean, it's multimodal. It's a multimodal. We come down on the train to BWI, just south of Baltimore. People can get off the train, take a shuttle, go catch a plane, and those are the kinds of connections that are smart and make sense. And the idea is to kind of like make them all work together in an intermodal way and to meet the individual needs that we have as people. Part of what Senator Merkley is trying to do here is to not only ensure that people have smart choices for more energy efficient vehicles to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, but also to make sure that we have options to get out of our cars, trucks, and vans, and maybe take a cab, maybe walk, maybe take a bus, maybe take a transit train. In our neighborhood, we take SEPTA, but make sure that we have those options available and that we use that. And I was pleased to offer legislation in the last Congress called Clean Tea that helps to actually make a fair amount of money available for that purpose. And I'm delighted that Senator Merkley's included that in this bill. The last thing I'll say, we senators tend to see a lot of things through the eyes of our own state, and in our state we have a little company called DuPont. They've been around for a long time, and they've gotten very much into the business of biofuels. They think it should be possible for us to fuel ourselves and to feed ourselves. And it wasn't that long ago that you'd raise an acre of corn, you maybe get 75 bushels of corn off an acre. Before long, we'll be up to 200, 250 bushels of corn per acre. And I've never been a big advocate of corn ethanol as an option to fuel our vehicles. But the idea of using the stalk of the corn, the ears of the corn, the leaves of the corn, create cellulosic ethanol, cellulosic ethanol that actually has better energy density, travels better in pipelines, mixes better with gasoline. There's all kinds of biofuel work that's going on. We need to do more of that, and some of it is really exciting. Better energy density, fewer environmental consequences, and again, the legislation that he's proposed moves us in that direction. So think about it. More energy efficient vehicles, that's great. Number two, help people get out of their cars, trucks, and vans and take other modes of transportation that make sense and are kind of linked together in a smart way. And number three, for those of us who are still going to be needing fuel to fuel our vehicles and we can't harvest the wind maybe just yet off of Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, we'll be able to grow our way out of this with fuels that are a lot smarter than corn ethanol. That's the way we want to go, and the direction we need to go. This man is leading us, and I'm proud to be in this parade with him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. And now we have Michael Breen, who is the Vice President of the Truman National Security Project, former Army captain. And we talk about very many dimensions of our addiction to oil. We certainly talk about the impact of carbon pollution. We talk about the difference between sending our dollars overseas or creating jobs here at home. But we don't talk enough about the national security implications of being dependent on oil from many parts of the world that do not share our values. And so thank you for coming to help us address that part of this puzzle today.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. The Truman National Security Project and the veterans of Operation Free are proud to stand with Senator Merkley, Senator Carper, Senator Bennet, and Senator Udall in this critical fight for American energy independence and independence from oil. The veterans of Operation Free have seen firsthand on the battlefields of Iraq and Afghanistan that our dependence on oil fuels national security threats and makes us less safe. We've defended oil convoys in insurgent-infested territory. We've dodged improvised explosive devices purchased with Iranian oil dollars. And we've fought terrorist organizations that get their weapons from oil money. As these senators have said, we send about $1 billion a day overseas to pay for our oil. Unfortunately, too much of that money winds up in the hands of extremists and countries who don't share our values. It's time to break that cycle. These senators are leading to break that cycle. So we're proud to stand with them. Self-sufficiency, technological innovation, and skilled labor are core American values. These leaders have placed their faith in those values. We're very proud to place our faith in them. So we thank them for standing with us. We're proud to stand with them to secure America with clean energy and break our addiction to oil and keep us safe here at home. Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator.
Okay, well, with that, we'll open this up to see if folks have any questions, and I'll refer all the tough questions to Senator Carper and Senator Bennet. Oh, no, they're not here. Okay, well, I'll try to cover. Any questions? Yes. Well, we anticipate right now that this will probably be in the Energy Committee, Senator Bingaman. The Energy Committee is working right now on the electric vehicles bill, which that particular bill is a portion of this bill, and that has bipartisan support. It is tremendous to have a member of the Republican leadership on board, and we are working to try to figure out how to get that piece back to the floor. There are other components that will come up in the context of the Surface Transportation Act, and there are yet other components that will come up in the context of the Banking Committee, because the banking has a responsibility for transit. And so there will have to be a kind of a collaborative effort on a vision as large as this, that is, ending our dependence on foreign oil, between a number of committees here in the Senate.
Senator, a lot of the elements of this, as you referenced, introduced in the past, didn't move very far. What's different this time, and have you taken lessons from those experiences and changed anything this time?
Yes, when we introduced this bill last year, it was anticipated that it would be considered in the context of the overall energy bill that was being led by Senator Kerry to use market forces to cap carbon pollution, and this would be a component of that. That bill didn't end up making it to the floor and becoming a potential vehicle. And so this time we anticipate that more of the elements of this bill, some of them may be tackled individually, such as the electrical vehicle deployment bill. Of course, Senator Carper spoke to the clean tea portion of this that emphasizes transit and would most likely be in the banking side of Banking Committee. So we'll be taking the components together, merging individually, merging them together as the committee process allows us.
Is there different political climate, though, that changes the dynamic?
Yes, I think there was so much argument over energy in the context of a comprehensive, if you will, carbon strategy. But this breaks down the puzzle into pieces that Americans can wrap their hands around. First, they understand inherently that dependence upon oil from the Middle East is a problem. It's why president after president has spoken to that addiction and that vulnerability. They understand inherently that if we spend $1 billion a day overseas, that's creating jobs overseas, not creating jobs here in the United States of America. And during this recession, what could be more powerful than keeping those energy dollars at home? So I think that these themes bring citizens together with kind of a common sense understanding, and it brings, hopefully it'll bring members of the Senate together across the political aisle.
Senator,
Yeah.
in lieu of the recent conflict over the debt ceiling and the deficit crisis, do you expect there to be much Republican opposition to this bill?
What I anticipate is that we will have to find pay-fors to be able to fund the bill. Senator Alexander and I have committed ourselves to find a pay-for the electric vehicle portion, and I think any other piece that is able to proceed is going to have to be part of a structure that involves fiscal responsibility. Anyone else? Well, I want to thank my colleagues. Thank you very much, Michael Breen, for coming today, and thank you, all of you, for covering this issue that's so important to our national security, to our stewardship of the environment, and to creating jobs right here in the United States of America. Thank you.